Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. All right. So, markets are poised to move. Let's hope so. I think so. Things are getting tighter. Markets have gone nowhere for 2 weeks, except whipping back and forth. As you know, news day to day. Who come up with this taco trade? I didn't catch what that meant, but I know what they mean by it, but how they come up with that word. Oh, charts. Yeah. The taco trade. All right. All right, so things are tightening. You can go back here about 2 weeks ago, and the majority of charts look something similar to this. And so as we look at on the slide, we'll take uh yeah, I didn't change the date exactly done. Um, so what occurred, here, just going back, we always do a little education here. So this acceleration is what you often see, typically means that it's going to go higher from the beginning of a move. As you know, this was going down. And not always, but because of the structure of how this set up, the daily and weekly charts, this secondary move, which created this wide range bar on the weekly time frames into an area of resistance, said, okay, things are going to slow down, correct a bit. And that's what's been doing. As you know, our market internal gauges about the same time gave us a heads up, risk off. And so far, it's just been a sideways correction, which is bullish. You can see the weekly chart here, the wide range bar, sideways, a little bit of rejection last week. That's what I marked here as the shock bar versus correction bars. And so far, the shock hasn't produced much of anything other than more chop. We're buyers on the dip. You see today's going nowhere. Um, just zeroing in on this part of the chart, wide range bar, the opens and closes are in the upper 25% or so. So we got a topping tail versus bottoming tail bar. And you can see this whipsaw action, the upside shakeout here. And then the downside shakeout. And so on Friday, it looked like it can continue to go lower. And lo and behold, in the latter part of the day, I think around lunchtime or so, there was all of a sudden this rally all the way back up. And now we're just flip-flopping back and forth here. I guess waiting. Well, 10 o'clock is ISM data. So you may want to hold off until after 10 for trades or get out before then, or hold on if things are going your way. And it's a choice. All right. And so as we look around, things are essentially the same as far as the broader markets go. Um, the move up toward resistance, the wide range bar on the weekly, sideways so far, and things are getting tighter. And so as we look at things getting tighter, you know, visual aids, you look at the distance between the moving averages, the distance between the moving averages, the distance between the moving averages getting tighter and tighter together. So this way or that way. Probably going to take some news motivating piece of information to get things to start moving. But you can see, as far as the futures go, 6,000 versus 3,700. And as things are tightening up more and more, I'm assuming that they're going to have to break one way or another. Trump can get the news going. Well, he certainly has, but he always, not always, but lately, what the story's been, Robert. And he gets it going one way, and then he flips and gets it going the other way, which has been making craziness. And, the charts, I believe, are starting to represent a picture of we don't care anymore, right? Right? The craziness is coming together to an inflection point, and whatever's going on, the market doesn't care too much in waiting for some other information. I mean, you've got continued craziness with the Ukraine, you know, and or Russia, who they're bombing each other. You know, Trump was going to end it. He's not ending it, right? It seems to be getting worse. Um, anyway, who's got the bigger bomb? We're going to find out. Um, so, yeah, yes, interest rates, which we'll get to, but you know, you can just see things are getting tighter and tighter here. And so, whatever news could happen, whether it's ISM, I'm not so sure. We'll see what the reaction is to it, but there is this potential, and it just seems like probability because that's what we've been dealing with, that even intraday something could happen that we could get whipsawed one way or another. So have your stops in and pick your spots as always. All right, so upside rejection, bottom side rejection, things are getting tighter. So Russell futures there. Dow's, and you know beginning of last week, I talked about, could this be a head and shoulders top? And what's interesting, things are always interesting, but a little confusing, is that we start getting different pictures that are in opposition of each other. So as I'm looking through various charts of stocks and some markets, I look at them and I'm like, that doesn't look so good. Like it could break lower. And I look at others and it's like, well, that looks pretty darn good still, So more of, I guess, a stock picker's market, of course, rather than throwing the darts. But nonetheless, the news is affecting things. And so, another chart where things are getting tighter, just waiting for something to unfold. Uh, Interest rates, see they're up here a little bit, and you can see this head and shoulders top. I think my artistic abilities here are on display. I think this is from the weekend letter. But this possible topping pattern, it's on major support. Does it flip up or does it flip down? Again, yet to be seen. So have alerts, whether it's on the 10-year or you could look at TBT to see which way interest rates might go. So, this trending up, but deep retracement putting the trend in question. Buyers down here. Let's see which way it's going to go. We haven't looked at the 13-week in a while. That spiked up and back down again. You see the Fed guy today, one of them saying, oh, we could still possibly have 2 interest rate cuts. And you got to wonder with the Fed chair, did the Fed chair send him out to say that? Or is that creating some riff where Powell's saying, oh, we can wait and see. And this guy's saying, no, we can still do a couple of cuts. But we'll see. But the 13-week is just sitting here on the support, a little bit of a buy setup. It hasn't triggered. You can see on the weekly. Set alerts up and down. All right, there is news mentioned short treasuries. Well, that means interest rates go up. Right? If you're going to short treasuries because you believe bonds are going down, here's the 10-year up against these converging moving averages. We have a sell setup, like the interest rates are a little buy setup, sloppy one. Hey, set alerts and we'll see. Opinions are everywhere. So here's a retest on the weekly, which was maybe that's going to go up and interest rates would come down. This is a sell setup on the daily. So misalignment, which we've got that all over the place, misalignment of stocks and broader market indices and bonds, and everybody's trying to make their best guess about what's the next shoe to drop, or right, like with crude oil, right? They're saying this was baked into the pie, so to speak, right? That there was going to be an increase in supply. And I suppose to an extent that was true. This is what Trump wanted, but now the price is going up in the face of that. So they're saying that was baked in. So that created some buying. And now we've got crude oil popping up with a wide range bar. And I drew this out last week, this bottoming pattern here. So, sideways, downtrend, more potential chop. Can it break out above the pivot highs, or what's it going to do here? And so the theme is the same no matter where we look as to indecision. Let's see, as far as gaps go, gapping down a little bit inside of Friday's range, marking time, going nowhere. 65-minute chart, the pivot highs, pivot lows, getting tighter. You could see, the upside shakeout, downside in the middle there. Just sit here, wait and see which way things are going to go. Right? That's what we're going to be doing here as far as equities goes. All right. Gold looks like it's going up. Well, it is going up. We're at a trading range. So far, it looks like it can continue. It's clearing that resistance. It's got room to go. Silver's starting to finally move, right? Breaking out. So there's a long, right? Buy pullbacks. Look for that to continue to go higher. We looked at oil. We looked at bonds. You can see currencies are up here a little bit. So the dollar is going to be down, which helps gold and go up. And other than that, transports are marking time. As we look around, we can pick almost anything. It's pivot highs versus pivot lows from last week. Pivot lows last week, pivot highs 2 weeks ago. In trading range, mark off your ranges, trade the ranges if you so choose, and pick your individual instruments to trade based on your trading plan. Okay? So spiders, gapping down a little bit within the range, almost unchanged, not a big deal. Internals are neutral, Robert. Not much to say there at all. SPX, nothing has come even close to the outside strikes lately because things aren't moving, but they're tightening up. So with that happening, I don't know whether it's today or tomorrow or what's going to move things. You got more economic reports and you got some earnings reports coming this week. What can move things? But I suspect one day this week, as things tighten up, one of these levels is going to get tagged. And so our job as intraday traders is to observe what's going on, set alerts on interest rates, and do our best to avoid getting caught in some kind of whipsaw. And that's it. As far as today goes, the put side is further away. Things are down a little bit. You got an unfilled gap here. It's this little green box is marking off. You got a rising 20 on a closing basis. It's above here. So assuming things maybe dip a little bit more, you want to pick something. Well, you can pick something up above, of course. An iron condor. But it's unlikely to come down here. So you want to get ideally on the other side of the whole number, 5,800. And over here, you're easily going to be on the other side of 5,900. So there you have it. All yours, Dan. Well, the little sell in May, go away. May actually turned out to be good. And as we start from the beginning of the month, right? The move was the first 2 weeks, which basically was on a gap for the most part, the gain, and then nothing. So on the surface saying, you hear the news, oh, May was like the best in how long? Okay, so numbers are numbers, but how did it form, right? And so as you look at that here, sideways, big gap, a little bit more and sideways. So a few days of movement, and then for the most part, just dead in the water.
Yeah, I think they said the the SPX best May, I think 30 years. And I don't have many alarms going off here. And we don't have a big gap, so and Mondays sometimes we get a gap, and then the trades that I have in that direction are wigged out. But today not. I don't I don't have many going off. I have Fizzler here. I've been watching for this turn. We did a put spread on it last week and had a nice profit. I'm watching it go through a directional and put spread. But unless I had a bottoming tail or gap reversal, then this I don't know. I want a closing definitive breakout, or else this could be a consolidation to go down again. That's solar, of course. So I'll look at tan beta. Well, Fizzler's actually underperforming tan here. This thing's kind of grinding up, but I don't know. Got my alarm. AVAV we had as a put spread. My up alarm went off. So that's good to go if you get filled, based on the gap, but there's no way it's going to get filled at the open though. A Delta Kilo alarm, up alarm. So we bought the stock and sold the 17 and a half. DRI alarm. No, that's an old alarm, but it's a nice 1, 2, 3, 4. And finally, silver alarm went off. We're nice consolidation here, flat 2050 after this big move. It's not technically a 1, 2, 3 on the weekly, just because the retracement's a little deeper, but for me, close enough. It's a bullish weekly too. So that's a buy on a pullback. I actually bought it pre-market right there. It was 2030 when I saw it, and I bid 3020 and I got filled. And I've actually sold it already, so I gotta get back in myself. And that's it. Alarms. Couple earnings here, not much. Yeah, oil is ripping. Greg showed you. These are earnings. SPS. That's a bullish consolidation. Beautiful moving average arrangement there. Soup. He's a slug and a downtrend, no interest. SAIC 108. Ideally, this goes lower. It's ugly right now. And Apple. But for the rally on Friday, I was hoping this would close weaker, because under Friday's low looks lower. It's a sell setup. Bear 1, 2, 3 on the weekly. Oh, Myrna, bottom right. I saw it gapping up pre-market. I think one of their vaccines approved. So 30-minute high, put spread watch, but it's giving up the strength here. Alex gave me a couple in here. Yeah, look at USO. That's a gap breakout. That's an igniting gap right there. Problem is, I think, came down ugly. I think target could be the 200. XOP, XLE, OIH, those are all very messy. Alex mentioned copper making a move here, but no pattern. Milko. Now, this was an M top. Momentum move, breakout failure, retest. That's an M top. And now it looks like it's in the process of being a failed M top. Look at the weekly is a nice bottom. I'm sorry, the monthly. That That looks like a long-term bottom to me. Millville Resorts. But I'm not crazy about the entry here on the daily. Northeast oil stock gapping up. That could be a 30-minute high. Play. I got an alarm. We have this in the weekend letter. This breakout, 1, 2, 3, from the bottoming pattern. Just, just go to the interest list now. So Trump mentioned, I think it was Friday after the market, he's fighting with China again. So he's doubling the tariffs. They were 25%, now up to 50 on steel. So I know Cenex is aluminum. That's a big old gap. But Alex, I looked at Alcoa. It was actually down today. So why is Alcoa down and Cenex up? Cisco, why am I looking at this? You know, Stole, big old gap, 138, but no pattern. Cliff Clavin, and bullish gap and a downtrend. NUE is steel, 124. The gap's too big. Silver we looked at, gold. SLX is a steel ETF. Um, how much room does it have? Well, it's gapping to. Okay, there's 65, so it does have room higher. So let's watch SLX. But if some of those that I showed you were gapping a resistance, not sure how much more this can go. Look at CELH, Celsius Holdings, sports drink. That's a trading range. So you got a flat 20, you got a rising 50, you got a bottoming pattern on the weekly, and you had a climo and a bullish turn on the monthly with a void. So I kind of like this. There was some article in the journal, whatever. That's what made me look at it. So I'm gonna set an alarm at 3802 and maybe start out with a put screen. Checking this social media here. Just logged in. South Florida company. Oh, I don't have any idea. Yeah, oil moves up on supply and demand and war. I also saw a little blurb in the Wall Street Journal on Saturday that said, because I remember I'm talking about Taiwan, China. Many smart people think they're going to do it in the next couple of years, and um, Biden was always afraid to come out and say anything to not to piss him off. But Hedgeseth came out and said, "Yeah, we'll defend Taiwan." So that's creating more rattling with fighting with China, but also, oil markets too. Our METU is the levered Meta. If Meta takes out Thursday's high, then that looks like a continuation pattern. Trading range here at the rising 20 has a void up here, maybe to 680, 90. I don't know. I'm talking about other things. I see Tesla down. That looks like a call spread candidate. And Google is down. I saw a headline in the journal that they were going to appeal some ruling. So I'm just assuming that's why it's down. Maybe the ruling came out over the weekend. I don't know. And on today's Costco was on my put spread watch, but because of the spreads, I could only get a 22-cent midpoint. But let's see. Keep an eye on SFM, put spread idea, consolidation, rising 50, bullish weekly, monthly. This is what we talked about. Walmart. It's consolidating. It's actually a closing breakout. When we say closing breakout, it's the closing price is higher than all these other bars closing price. We don't care about the wick. So that's a closing breakout. Got an alarm. A Mighty Mo, nice closing breakout. That would have been a no-brainer put spread, but there's no premium. Flood had earnings last week, or no? Oh, that was on your list. That's right. Yeah, remember I said I didn't like that one, Alex? Up 5 bars at resistance. So that one I didn't like. Ah, I thought it was on your list to go long. All right. Hymns, Thomas, there's no pattern. It's a range, resistance, support, but it is a rising 20. Rawlings, 20. Oh, that's up there if that's accurate. 59. It's kind of just chopping around dead money, but if it is opening up there, it's a breakout. Yeah, Don. Right. AVAP was a put spread. That's why I sent a telegram saying if you get filled, great. Car continuation breakout. Remember last Wednesday MT Live? We were showing that all patterns are better with correction bars. So this is a breakout, closing breakout, bullish weekly. And what makes it even better is we got a downside shakeout. So that increases the reliability of this breakout going higher over Friday's high. Saw kind of a pseudo little inverse head and shoulder, but nice greater than 100% move here, and little red bar ignored. The saw looks good. I have an alarm up there. Cha, a recent IPO, had earnings last week, maybe Friday. That just sold off ugly. Let's watch to short that on the bounce. The Tish, there's no good void. I checked for a put spread, but no good premium. Baxter, it's in a small little trading range here, but you got a sell setup on bear 1, 2, 3 weekly. You got declining 50. So I got an alarm there. Pulte alarm. Alex, this is yours. This might be an early alarm. And CELH up alarm. Let me check the official entry on. And I Pulte. Ah, okay. I didn't put Pulte official. And apparently therefore it didn't have enough premium, but 5-minute low. Yeah, I think for a swing, the void is not big enough. But day trade, short that 5-minute low looks great. 5-minute low is a go right there. Day trade. Here, I'll put it here on the bottom right. SFM alarm. So that's This was a put spread. Let me check the juice bar. 160, 150 for 95. And then their monthlies. Neog low alarm. That was a short, I remember. 160, 150. It's 85 on SFM. I'm going to try 90. Fizzler, low alarm again. What did I say? You all, I'm not going to repeat it now, but go back and listen to the recording of what I said about Fizzler pre-market. SFM. Walmart is triggering. Wow, Meadow. Greg. Meadow alarm. It's an early alarm, but when I saw that gapping down this morning, didn't expect it to come roaring back. Q's, yeah, roaring here. Apple ripping. Yeah, getting more alarms. Cyber, cyber as a go. We had put spread and we had directional for sure. Nope, I guess there wasn't a good premium. Cyber, Walmart, Neog, SFM. All right, the cyber looks fantastic. Why did I not do a put spread? Because they're okay. That's why there's only a monthlies and the spreads were nuts. That's why. That's why. But looks fantastic. I'm actually gonna bid a little here. I'm gonna bid. Man, Q's filled the gap. So did spiders. So did IWM. Man, diamonds are the laggard. All right, I'm gonna bid from 386 on cyber myself. All right, order set.
UNH had a big, not big, but on 5 minute bars big, but it's got a big bottoming pattern on the 65 minute.
Yeah, I looked at that also for put spread, and there was nothing over the weekend. All right, Dow, low alarm, good. Uh, Dow, yeah, so 27, yeah, so Dow, let me reset the alarm.
NQs are at the top of their trading range, small trading range. Resistance here. Russell's backing off. Dow's going nowhere.
That's why I was bidding for it, Alex. I'm bidding 380, 386. Actually, I'm gonna bid 385.50. I'm gonna change it. UCL. All right, so this is one of those continuation patterns. And we're stopping out break even. Okay, good. I mean, good, meaning not a loss. Yeah, PHM, I liked 5 minute low. So yeah, it looks good for a day trade. Cha, cha, triggering. We're doing a third lot. ELH alarm. Okay, good. Now I'm gonna reset it at 38. To the 35s. Or 30 cents. But wait. SLV, that's an igniting gap. Man, I can't believe I already sold mine pre-market. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm selling the 30 and a half puts, 21 cents. And then that gives me a cost basis. Um, $30.29. And then I'll look to buy the stock on the pullback. But that's an igniting gap right there. Yeah, APP we had as a put spread. Not crazy about a directional myself, but yeah, I gave a put spread. Hasn't triggered yet. Neog triggered short. Four. DRI hasn't triggered. R MJ. MJ is a penny away. We're going to do a $2 wide call spread. Can you believe this marijuana? It is the absolute craziest sector of weakness. No, they're spreading. Right now it's 40. I'm going to go in at 40 and see if I get filled. Filled. MJ. I'm okay. I'm going to give it right now. MJ is a go at 40. Okay. I got that from actually from Sal. A valve. Oh no, that's not true. That's no, that was Alex's list. Bosco Strong. Near Costco. Wow. Milko, nothing. Uh, yeah, look at GDX. Man, sectors are ripping. Oil's coming in, so not chasing anything there. Already big team. Yeah, continuation breakdown, sure. Airbnb's in the letter over Thursday's high, looks good. Over 130s, the 125, 120. And as of right now, won't get filled. It's only 54, so 11 cents away. Sure, absolutely. Relative weakness, bearish consolidation, sure. Oracle over has to get over Friday. Oh, cyber, I got filled on that pullback. ABAV. Um, AVAV was 160, 150 for a dollar. Yeah, there's no, we're gonna cancel that AVAV. We're not gonna get film. Yeah, Costco up $20. Remember the other day, AI was so strong on that gap, coming in ugly. Remember I had naked puts, I closed on a small gain. I didn't like that tail. And our DK is below alarm. Shoot, that's a failed little bull rectangle. The way that's coming down, I do not like it. That's an early alarm, but bar by bar analysis, that don't look good. Hertz stopping out, another failure. Hertz failed. That was a nice 1, 2, 3. Pattern was fine. We had long calls. We had long June 6 calls. Now they are 45 cents. A D line negative 1200. Yeah, it's just the Qs are the strongest today. Spiders back to flat and the other 2 week. Alex, our JEPQ had an ugly gap. Yeah, that's what Greg said pre-market about. Oh, that was a dividend today? That's why. But don't you still trade it like a regular chart? So where, how do you manage this? Under that prior low? Set alarm 5180. All right, continue with alerts. All right, Walmart should have, let's see, was this a call? Yeah, I think it was long calls. Yeah, 96 calls, Walmart. Yeah, we got filled on those, obviously, in the pullback.